Okay. Welcome to Table Talk to Electric Boogaloo.
What?
Electric Boogaloo refers to when the sequel is likely to be not as good as the first.
So, a normal sequel.
Yeah. Which that shouldn't be how sequels are. Sequels should be even better or at least the same. One thing I noticed that's like bad sequels tend to do is they do like more of the same events with new characters when a good sequel should have a new event with the old characters.
So, The Matrix.
I don't know, I haven't seen them all.
Darn it, you saw the first two.
And even then, that was a while ago. But like
Yeah, I was like 7.
one thing that always like struck me as really weird bad sequel type stuff is in Trigun during the second half of it. Like in the first half, there's this sort of mad scientist guy with his creation son thing, I think. But then in the second half, it's like the mom to that, and it's like the same thing again. And so it feels really. And then they add like a bunch of other random stuff, but it's the same event. It's the same thing. Why?
Well, you see, creativity is dying.
And then also in some there's a lot of weird stuff with Shaolin Chronicles when compared to Shaolin Showdown, but like the really one of the things that got me was that they had so many events or episodes that were the same thing that happened in the old series, and I don't know why. Like there in the old series, there's this thing where like there's a give or take 1,000-year thing. It's actually 962, but 1,000 seemed more ominous. And like Dojo was going to turn evil for a while, and so they locked him in a box. And then Dojo started shape-shifting. I guess he just gets that power when he's evil. He turned into different people trying to get Omi to open the box. And then eventually he just seemed like he was gone, so Omi opened the box to go like check inside it. And then Dojo was like camouflaged on the side and then escaped that way. But then there was another thing in the other series, and it was like the same thing with I think it was with a possessed character or something. Kind of hazy on it, but because all I was thinking was like, we've been over this. We've had this happen before. What? Another thing that's like with the more of the same, but not in the way you want it, is like the first thing that happens in Chronicles is that, oh look, there's another Omi, but it's smaller and even more annoying, and this one wears glasses. And and then the main difference that they do between them is like the little one is less egotistical, which is Omi's defining feature. So it's like Omi without being Omi. Why? And the thing that I was most disappointed with was that, like, they had this female character come up. Her name was Willow. You know, like trees, like wood, what the fifth element was gonna be. And like, hey, this works. She's not a carbon copy of one of the other characters. Her name references her element. I don't know what anyone else's names mean, but I know that Clay can be referenced to Earth, and his element is Earth. So, her name would have worked out fine. But no, she's evil. And so they have other Omi, which they call Ping Pong, because he bounced everywhere when he had to pee early on in the episode. That's how you know what kind of show you're getting into.
Really? That was the reason?
Yeah, and and also because his real name is overly long and hard to say.
Just call him Benjamin.
I think the first name he said was Boris. He doesn't look like a Boris though. It's in my list. You ever like hear a name and then you don't hear that name that often, so you automatically just think of all the people you know that are named that?
Yeah, that doesn't happen to me very much
I know-
because I know of names like Lamangelo.
I know, well, I only can think of like two Borises. There's Boris the animal from Men in Black 3, and then there's Boris the wolf from Benny and the Ink Machine. And one of those is relatively new in my memory, so I only had like one Boris that I knew of when I heard that, so.
I don't even know what's going on right now.
The weird thing is that, like, you can tell that. Oh dear, my computer went blank.
Darn it, just continue your thought.
No, I want to make sure it doesn't shut off because it stopped. It stopped scanning the last time it did that earlier today.
So change the settings.
I don't.
Don't
I'm
tell me
not-
you don't know how.
I am not a computer person.
You gotta be kidding me right now. Alright, just continue your thought.
Are you gonna change the settings while recording?
Yes.
You're just gonna hear random tip tapping on the thing.
It's gonna be fine.
Ever.
Gonna be fine. Just continue your thought.
Oh well, and it turns out that she's like Chase's daughter, even though they flirt. They started flirting partway through, and it was just weird. They like
That's
showed her be born, and like I got flashbacks to like the one myth of how I think it was Aphrodite, how she got born. Except he didn't chop off his ding dong, he just kind of ripped a random organ out.
doesn't he need that to live?
No, he uses the evil potion with the dragon stuff and he's immortal. I don't know why he had to rip an organ out to birth her, but okay. Oh, and then after she's evil, her name's Shadow, but it would, did they just make her perfect for the team just so that it wouldn't be an obvious red herring? Like, that's not the only, I swear he's got to be related to Omi. They look too much alike.
Nah,
Like,
they're just both Asian.
But
That was racist.
Kimiko's Asian too, and she doesn't look like Omi.
She's Japanese though, not Chinese.
That's incredibly racist.
I know.
Master Fung, I think, is Chinese, and he doesn't look like that.
Okay, now I got nothing. Maybe they're Korean, I don't know.
Oh well, but that's not the only. I wanted to somehow break the tangent into characters having random siblings. Like in Chronicles, there's Clay, and then his little brother appears. And his little brother's like, I hated being in your shadow when we were growing up. And I'm like, we've been over this. He had a little sister with the exact same motivation.
Well, you see, when you're the first in your family and do everything right, all your siblings are gonna hate you.
But
That's why you didn't do anything right.
the siblings don't mention each other. They just mention how they don't like being in Clay's shadow.
Well, they weren't in each other's shadow.
It was just weird because we've already had this plot line of Clay's younger sibling not wanting to be in his shadow. It was just weird. Like, A, we've already done this. B, it's another character doing this again. And then Kimiko has a random time dimension traveling older sister with a dinosaur. And no mention of this in Challenge Showdown. But then suddenly, sister who goes on interdimensional missions just randomly appears. Yep, that's her sister. Yep, she's there. Yep. Random sibling out of nowhere.
Minor nuisances like dinosaurs. This is why I like Dragon
But
Ball.
you know who didn't have random siblings popping out of the wazoo? Raimundo. You know what's weird about that is that he mentioned in Challenge Showdown that he's got 8 siblings. So how come those weren't his siblings? Because he has that many. They've been referenced. It wouldn't seem out of nowhere.
Because they're not human.
I have questions. Then again, he used to work at the circus, so by siblings, does he mean the elephants?
I
I suddenly got reminded of Robin from Teen Titans because I think he used to work at the circus too.
One of them did. I don't know what the other
The
ones did.
Robin, I think the Robin that is part of the Teen Titans used to be at the circus.
Hold on, didn't Beast Boy too?
Did he? I thought he had his own like other team. No, in the one future episode, he was like a freak show thing at the circus when Starfire went to like the bad future where she didn't exist.
Oh. No, it wasn't that she didn't exist. It's like she had disappeared at some
yeah.
point.
Yeah, she had disappeared.
How the heck does Starfire hold that team together? She doesn't even function.
She functioned better in the older series, except for the one episode where she was going through alien puberty, and she got in a cocoon, and a spider lady was gonna eat her.
Yeah, that happened.
Aliens. Which she doesn't look enough like a bug where that's believable, but okay. Then again, it's not like with Pokemon where they got like dragons curling up into cocoons. First there was, well, I guess, I'm not sure if Larvitar is actually a dragon or not, but
It is.
that has its second form is a cocoon. And then there's also Bagon where its second form is a cocoon. Why are dragons curling up into cocoons? Is it like with dragonflies? But then Flygon, which is the dragonfly that actually looks like a dragonfly, its second form isn't a cocoon, it's just a dragonfly.
Yeah, I don't know. Taylor, Pokemon's Japanese.
It is
Wait, was I
Japanese
supposed to
and
use-
therefore weird to American audiences.
Wait, was I supposed to use your real name?
You already have, so it is too late to go back. We can use it. You can use it. I think
Alright.
I might have said this in the previous one as well, but I think I actually do have my name, like my full name, on one of my videos, just because it was like part of a class project, and I wanted to show it off to the random internet people, because a lot of work went into that.
Well, my real name's not anywhere on mine.
Brayden.
Dang it. You'll never find me by my other 8 names.
I would list them, but nah.
Do you even know all 8?
No, I know.
Good, neither do I.
Oh boy.
Well, let me see. Well, that's great. I know I'm George somewhere.
That might have been all of my big problems with Shaolin Chronicles over Shaolin Showdown, is that, like, there's a little bit of weird repetitiveness, and the new stuff didn't make sense to be new. Except for, I did like Sal, and he's sort of,
That's too normal a name.
I guess, well, he turns into, like, a lizard, so I think it's Sal for, like, salamander.
Okay, that's better.
Which I got a character named Sal for a very similar reason. Oh, and so I like him because he's an anti-villain, and you don't see a whole lot of those. He was just a cool guy. He was a bad guy, but he was a cool guy. I loved that, like, he was trying to get into people's heads, making them on his side, whatnot, or letting him go free. He starts talking to Raimundo and talking about how he never had a childhood.
Oh.
And Raimundo empathized with him, and they're like, let's go to the carnival. And so they go have fun with the carnival with him handcuffed to Raimundo the whole time. And then at one point he escaped by detaching his arm and growing a new one. So for a little bit, Raimundo just had a random severed arm handcuffed to him. I did not expect this from a kid's show. It was kind of gross.
Well, you remember that one Class of the Titans show where a dude got his ear shot off thrown off a building?
That was on Cubo. Cubo was for like little kids, and then I can see why they didn't have Class of the Titans on very long. Big guy got his ear cut off, and it showed a close-up of him regrowing it.
Man, that's how you have a good bad guy. I found out that show actually continued after it, like, stopped airing. Like, it's a full show.
Ugh.
I need to go look that up again.
And then they replaced you with Boo.
What?
Because they're like, it's called Boo. It was a weird, like, Cubo as a whole I see as being for little kids, but that one was for like very, very little. Like, not even in preschool yet,
Didn't they have that early in the morning too?
possibly.
Man, I remember I woke up early one day, turned on the TV, saw that, and I was just like, no.
It was like there's a lot of little kids shows on that, but I don't mind. Like, my friend Rabbit was one where I can tell it's for very small children, but I still enjoyed it.
And then there's Babar, which that was odd.
That one was for, I think, a bit older on the spectrum of like age ranges that the shows were for. Not quite to Class of the Titans level, but definitely up there.
I feel like they could have had Class of the Titans on Cartoon Network. How come they never did?
Sometimes stuff gets weird with like who gets the rights to what shows. Like, it's possible that they still belonged to Cubo, and so Cartoon Network couldn't air it. I think something like that happened where Cartoon Network couldn't air Symbiotic Titan anymore for reasons like that.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's why they stopped airing it.
But
I might be wrong.
It airs on Toonami sometimes.
Oh,
I remember catching it randomly.
I don't know
once.
what the deal was then. It might have been. Maybe it was money issues. I don't know.
There's probably money issues. It is weird. They took off a cartoon and then they had a bunch of random real live action shows.
Destroy, Phil, destroy!
At least that guy was kind of funny.
It shouldn't have been on Cartoon Network, though. Whether or not any of the live action shows were actually good, they shouldn't have been on Cartoon Network. Like, man, that's like one of the 4 channels I can go to watch cartoons. Don't put live action in it.
Man, this is why they should have renamed it. Like, they renamed ABC Family. Well, turned it into Freeform. Because you know what? Those weren't family shows. If anything, they were teenage girl shows.
Actually, no, whatever channel the hub was, that also had cartoons. I remember now. There used to be,
What
like...
channel was the hub?
I don't know. It might have been its own channel, because, like, I know that's... I remember because there's a lot of rips from things in... We're recording straight from the TV, and My Little Pony was on the hub. It was mostly YouTube Poops where I figured that out.
Oh, because it was in the corner?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that reminds me.
I remember Sheldon Showdown used to be on Kids WB, but I have no idea if that exists anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to it either.
I also remember Jackie Chan Adventures.
Man,
That was back before I realized that, like... Before I knew what a celebrity cartoon was. Like, I don't know how to put it.
I'm pretty sure that was back before I knew what a celebrity was.
I remember knowing that Jackie Chan was a real guy. I think they had like little live action segments at the end of the cartoon though. Although I was used to that because I remember in Cyber Chase they would have live action segments at the end of the cartoons. Although at the end of Cyber Chase it would not connect to it at all except for like the math lesson they learned. It would usually alternate between 2 people, but there was one episode where like they both had a graph, and so it was like both the main characters for the live action after scenes. And I think that's like another. Gotta pause. And we are back
In a new setting.
in a new. Well, not a new house, but in a different house right now. This one has a little kitty cat. Let's see if I can pick him up. I don't know if it...
You
Say
probably
hi.
heard that so faintly.
Call for help, Luther. Oh. Okay, I'll set you down. I like cats more than dogs.
Most of us do.
Oh well, so back when talking about Sal, so at one point, because he used to work at the circus, Raimundo didn't want to take him to the circus, and so he apologized for that. And then when Sal finally escaped, Raimundo's like, I know where to find him. And so they go to the circus, and he's actually watching the circus performance. So, like, I thought he was just being crafty and lying about wanting to go to the carnival and doing fun kid things. But no, he just wanted to do that. I like him.
He is truly a villain. Yeah.
He's an anti-villain. Which is like an anti-hero, where he lacks the despicableness of being a villain, but he's still a villain character. Well, anti-villains can lack a few different villainous things, but that's
he
why
lacks all of them.
that's why Sal is an anti-villain. And so after that, he actually like gets captured. He gives Raimundo the amulet that gave him the lizard powers, and he just goes quietly to jail. They never do anything with the amulet, partly because I read somewhere that they were going to do 2 more seasons of Chronicles, but for whatever reason didn't.
They ran out of money.
And like the first season ends with them defeating Chase. Spoilers, I guess. Was anyone really? It's been out for a while. I think if anyone really wanted to watch it, they would have by now.
They don't really care. I can tell by now. You guys don't care, right? Leave a comment.
You guys, a total of possibly 1 person that watches these.
Dang it! I had 8 views on the first one.
Which
I don't know how.
the first Table Talk podcast that we did.
Oh,
We call it Table Talk because we walk in a circle around the table while we do it.
Sometimes we eat.
okay.
This time,
It's a long
last time we
story.
were talking about like our own stories and stuff, but this time I've just mostly been ranting about Shaolin Showdown and Chronicles.
Well, we haven't been talking that long, have we?
I have no idea.
Have we?
I don't know. I think I said most of what I wanted to say about it.
Yeah, I got nothing to add.
And
I
then,
didn't watch
it ends with Shadow and Wuya unleashing a haunted biker gang, and then it just ends.
That sounds weird.
They had more stuff planned by the sound of it, but it's not done.
You should make a petition.
Petition to get more episodes of Shaolin Chronicles.
Yeah.
Because it had a rough start. I was kind of hesitant to get into it, but once it actually got going, I liked it.
It's not
It
the same.
was kind of hard to get used to Dojo being yellow, too, because I don't like his new color scheme. He looks wrong. He looks like someone painted a toy wrong. Like those Bart Simpson toys with the blue shirt.
Remember to paint your space orcs to be happy little space orcs.
Lord Dominator. Sexy space orc.
Making people question their sexuality since, age 7?
Age 7?
Yep.
Yeah, one of my favorite comments on like one of the videos of her song is that like some girl somewhere watched this and realized she liked other girls.
You're probably not wrong.
She also has the badge of Liquid Hips, along with What's His Face from the one game.
What one game?
It was a fighter game.
Oh, Soul Calibur. I can't remember his name.
I don't either, but
I call him the Fluid Gimp.
I call him Liquid Hips because his midsection flows. It doesn't move right. But that's kind of the fun of it. Like, it doesn't feel like they made a mistake, it just looks kind of weird.
Thing is, he's been in that series since the very beginning. He started out moving like that.
What's another like sequel or something where like it's too much Black Butler. Black Butler 2, it's not in the manga at all. But that's another thing where it felt like too much of the same but not enough. It's the same thing but new characters. Like, people didn't watch it. People didn't watch Black Butler for the Butler. They watch it because he's a demon and a badass. That's why they liked it, and because CL's a child character, but he's not overly whiny, he's not annoying, he's not a little shit. He just happens to be young.
He's more mature at age 12 than I am at 16.
Yeah. And he uses the fact that he's young to his advantage.
But that one time he dressed up like a girl.
Everyone thinks he's just the cutest little thing, when really he has a demon and he is plotting revenge for his family. Not on his family, for his parents are dead. It's like, imagine if with Batman, like right as his parents died, he was also caught and tortured, and then a demon ended up being summoned, and Alfred is like, well, Alfred's more like Tanaka. But then again, Tanaka is still pretty good for a butler.
Self-defense.
Yeah, don't mess with Tanaka. I know for a lot of the anime, he looks like this cute little chibi old man, but he can flip you.
Like, over a table.
It's something with anime and, like, badass butlers. Because, like, there's also Duskalae's butler and Professor Layton. There's
It's a freaking ninja.
There's Walter in Hellsing, which a lot of stuff. There's a lot of characters that I can draw parallels to in Hellsing and Black Butler. It's like Integra is a lot like CL in that, as a child who's more mature for her age than she should be, ends up finding like this ancient horror of a thing, and now it works for her.
Oh yeah, and someone tried to kill her as a child before she found it.
Yeah,
Good times.
I already mentioned Badass Butler. Rip
Yep.
Van Winkle looks a whole lot like Grell when Grell was pretending to be a butler.
But now I'm going to read your mind by drinking all of your blood. Om nom. Alucard's my favorite.
Your favorite abridged character?
Yes. You cheeky dickwaffle.
What is a dick waffle?
I don't know, and I don't want to find out. But it's a good insult.
Is it a vagina? Is that what a vagina is? A dick waffle?
No, I feel like
Indents and waffles?
it's a misshapen member, I believe. I mean, you think of a waffle cone, then
When
yeah,
you think of waffles, they got like a little indent divots, whatever. So,
your waffle cone's about the
and
same.
like, there's something called a blue waffle, and I believe that refers to.
That's a fake disease.
I know it's a fake disease, but it's still in reference to something.
It's a yeast infection with blue dye. I googled this. Don't ask me why.
On the one hand, I say we should stop. Kids could be listening, but on the other hand, like, they're on the internet. They should have known what they were in for.
I mean, almost everything I put up on my channel has the mature content warning.
Oh,
So-
on your DeviantArt.
Yeah, I'm a DeviantArt.
Ugh.
So, you knew what you were coming to.
Well, some people might have found you through mine, and like I'm a little bit more kid friendly. I heavily censor things when I post onto DeviantArt. Like, if I'm afraid that it might be considered too mature, it gets the mature thing. Like with the Nitro roll safe meme, there's nothing that graphic or bad looking in the video.
Words.
But just because he is referencing that he is going to rape everybody, I decided, yeah, some kids might not want to see that.
You can't die by a virgin if you rape everyone.
Which is true.
This is very true. Hold on. That means Alucard can't kill Nitro.
Because he's not a virgin.
He got raped by a priest. That's the perfect loophole.
Oh, I forgot to continue my tangent on the bad sequel. Because, like, and then you get Eloise, where Eloise is the opposite of what CL, because I said that CL is a good kid character because he's not a whiny little shit. Guess what Eloise is? He's a whiny little and he, like, the first thing you see him do is poke his maid's eye out.
There was a lot of blood.
Yeah, well, later you find out she's a demon, so it's okay, but, you know.
It's only okay because she used to be a slutty demon.
But, like, that's a way to introduce your character. Is have him poke an eye out and just be very irritating. Claude's not that good. Like
Claude is obsessed with feet.
some people towards the end of the series end up feeling sorry for Eloise, but no one feels sorry for Claude. Claude's just evil.
Oh, hey, didn't Eloise get raped?
I know he got molested. I don't know if it ever went as far as rape.
Well, he was naked in a bed with a fat old man, so anything is possible. Then he found a demon who was a spider.
Which, another thing is that, Ciel just kind of, through his sheer amount of hatred and shame, I think, was what, called Sebastian over to him. But with Eloise, he's just looking around some random thing, did a Bloody Mary, oh, there's a demon now.
Yeah, he pretty much found a giant spider in the woods, talked to it, talked about how he didn't know what he wanted to do, and the spider told him to leave.
So, with Ciel, the demon sought out Ciel, but with Eloise sought out the demon, and I feel like that alone kind of ruins the dynamic. So, Claude doesn't want to be around Eloise at all, and, part of what I think works with Black Butler is how well Ciel and Sebastian work as a group, team, whatever.
What?
How, the fact that they're one step ahead of everyone else is part of the fun, and usually you don't want characters that know exactly what they're doing and are overpowered a bit. But it's fun to just watch everyone else's expressions when they got the upper hand.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that. And also, nobody remembers the triplets, except for the fact that they're triplets. Also, if I remember right, back with the Trigun thing, with the Mama Mad Scientist or whatever, there was, I think there was also triplet other things. No one cares about those. Is that just a trait of bad sequels? Is that you have forgettable triplets?
Yes. Were there triplets in Chronicles?
Shaolin Chronicles?
Yeah.
Well, they're not triplets, but there are 3 sibling characters that pop up. Actually, the biker gang. The Phantom biker gang, there's 3 random ones that, I don't know if they're triplets, but... And also, since they appear at the very end and didn't have time to create an impression, I don't know if they even count, but... Well, the characters each kind of have a random, except for Raimundo, who should have a random sibling-ish character pop up. I don't know if that counts or not, but... Yeah. And also, they ruined Lemime. In the first series, he wasn't important. He appeared for 1 episode, and then I think every other time you see him, it's just a cameo. But he was so cute. And then in the second one, not only is he just kind of ugly now, but they also make him talk at the end of it, or end up fighting him.
Wait, but he's a mime.
Yeah, that's where the weight of him finally saying something. Because it was, I think they had finally beaten him to the point where he would say uncle. So, having the mime say uncle, I get what they were going for, but I don't know, I just liked how he was in Shaolin Showdown better. He had a more appealing design overall, even though he's a villain. Which they never explain why he's a villain, he just is. He just happened to be on the bad guy's side. Because, I rewatched the episode not too long ago, and, Jack and Wuya are talking, and then the mime just kind of shows up.
Does he do anything?
Well, throughout the rest of the episode, he, tries to stop the main characters from getting the next Shinganwu, and he does, an invisible box thing. And then they realize that, their imagination can influence the invisible creations, and they escape.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's mime powers. It's invisible box powers.
I thought mime powers were only supposed to affect the mime.
The fact that the mime can do this at all should be what you're questioning. He doesn't have a thing that lets him do that, he just does it. Just because he's a mime.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Another thing that I found kind of disappointing was that there was this one thing that was like a bunch of the Shengangu all combined, and it was like this big evil golem. I don't think it ever makes an appearance in Shaolin Chronicles. It was like, he was a big deal in Shaolin Showdown. And I don't know. It's just disappointing that he didn't get, of all the things that they could have repeated, it wasn't that.
Hold on, didn't you once say that the ending of Shaolin Showdown had a bunch of villains that could destroy the world all just get out of jail or whatever?
Yeah, which some of them I feel like there was this one thing that he only showed up for one episode. It was a demon seed. And, like, I don't know how they got him out of his box again, but he should be fighting the other villains. Because, like, he pretended to be obedient little plant thing, but then he got, like, powerful enough where he just turned on his current master. So, what's to stop him from doing that again? There's also Hannibal Bean, which I'm glad he wasn't in Chronicles. He's ugly. He's just ugly. I don't like him. I like all the other villains but him. Like, even the little scorpion thing was kind of cute. I forget his name, but there's an episode where there's this tiny little scorpion, and, like, Kimiko accidentally broke something, that's how it got out, and it started possessing Clay. And it didn't seem to be a huge threat, it just seemed kind of mischievous. I wish they could have kept it. But no, they just sealed it back where it was, I think. Malamalajong, that was what the golem thing was called.
Malamalajong.
Yeah, because there's a helmet of Jong, and there was a heart of Jong. So because there's two Jong things, that's what the entire creature was called, even though, like, a lot of... Oh, another thing in Shaolin Chronicles that was weird is that most, if not all, of the Shengang Wu were renamed. Where you can still tell what they were supposed to be, but, like, that's another reason why it just kind of felt like a ripoff of itself. Because, like, I think the changing chopsticks were switched to the morphing chopsticks. Orb of Tornabi was Orb of Torpedo, I think.
Okay.
I don't think they ever brought out the Mantis Flip Coin again, even though that was the first one they find, so apparently no respect for firsts. You hear that, first commenters, except you could probably do that on this video and actually be first because nobody watches these. Please comment.
All I have to say for first is Raditz. That's all.
Guess what show I'm talking about? And then a hedgehog from another world appeared. That could be a total of at least 3 shows. I use the term hedgehog loosely.
Hold on, so you've got Dragon Ball Z.
Where Raditz is the said hedgehog from another world.
He is quite the hedgehog, I will say that.
The other one would be Steven Universe, where there's Jasper, the hedgehog from another world.
This is also true.
Because of her hair. And then there's Sonic the Hedgehog, because in Sonic X, they're in a new location without any explanation. So they're...
Did you just?
Yes. Yes.
I'm gonna have to disown you.
No.
What? Why?
No.
Why not?
Because Sonic X was a part of my teenagerhood.
This is true.
I'm not sure if I was young enough to call it a childhood, but it was part of my teenager. 4Kids is another thing. I don't know what channel that was on. It might have been its own channel. I don't know. Maybe it's part of WB. I don't remember.
I always thought 4Kids was a part of Fox.
It could have been. Well, I guess there is animation domination on Fox, but I don't care as much for teen and adult animation. At least not Western ones.
It's like American Dad's about the only one I enjoy anymore.
American Dad is...
American Dad,
like,
Rick and Morty.
American Dad is, like, at the point where... I put it on par with elevator music, where, like, no damage done by it being on, but really almost anything else would be better. Family Guy, turn it off. I can't stand it anymore. They've been getting really preachy serious. I just came here for fart jokes, man. And also, the way they use time travel very much irritates me. Then again, most things with time travel really irritates me. Because, like, no, that wouldn't happen. I don't care if you made it happen in the story. The author is lying. It wouldn't happen like that. That's not how it works. You can't use the fact that the author said so as your justification of why it can't happen.
Taylor, how does your view of time travel affect things?
Okay, one thing I don't like is the real time changes. Like, they're treating it like it's a place where the guy is somewhere else. They're like communicating with them in real time where it wouldn't happen. Or they're like seeing something fade away in real time to what they're doing. No, it would have already happened. The end result would have, you do the past adventure and then see what happens. It wouldn't be changing as they go. Another thing is the bootstrap paradox, where there wasn't really a start to it, where it kind of goes into a loop. Another problem with that is there'll be an item. Eventually that item's going to deteriorate if it becomes itself, especially if it's like a book or something.
You've got the bootstrap paradox wrong. You do have it wrong. I know this for a fact.
There is a type of paradox where, like, there is a thing that causes itself.
Yes, but due to the thing causing itself to move being different every time.
That's a closed loop. That's not quite what I'm talking about.
What the heck are you talking about?
Okay, let's say so-and-so finds the biggest thing that I can think of is a tattoo in Futurama, but let's just assume that his butt cells repair it every time. But let's say so-and-so finds this old book, and through the old book, he finds out time travel. He goes back in time and puts the same book back where he found it. He didn't do anything to repair the book or anything like that. He didn't try to preserve it. He just put it back. Eventually that book is going to decompose. Eventually there is going to be no book.
It's going to take a lot longer than the show's going to care about.
I know it's going to be longer than the show's going to care about, but because of the endless cycle loop, whatever, something's going to break in the grand scheme of things. The fact that it happens at all makes it so that you gotta think of the consequences instantaneously. Because for one of those loops, they're just gonna find the broken book.
You know how
that's all that they find.
Taylor, you know how the Declaration of Independence is still around? Or was it the Constitution? I can't remember anymore.
No, the fact that it deteriorates at all is the problem. It doesn't matter how long it takes, it's gonna happen.
You ever think that the book is treated with a thing? Because if time travel exists, there ought to be a way to preserve stuff that way.
You just think after a certain point they realize how old the book is and they just make a replica?
No, I was just saying that the book is treated with a special thing that makes it not deteriorate.
It can...
If time travel exists, then that exists. Come on.
No,
unless it's magic, in which the book is magic.
Assuming, if it's in a book, it's probably magic. But they don't do anything to fix the book. In this... don't focus too much on it being a book. It's just kind of a general thing.
If there is an object that is traveling through time, it is most likely treated with some special scientific or magical item.
You're implying that they would have figured this out, but they don't necessarily figure it out. They don't necessarily actually treat it. You're just assuming that they will. When you can't assume things as fact and just use the fact that, it should be like this as your argument.
Just because they don't say it doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
I know there's a term for this. I know it doesn't matter if there is one or not, but I think they call it begging the question. It's kind of like when people say it's just reminding me of a thing.
You gonna complete that thought there?
It's I think the example they used was in trying to prove if God exists. And like part of their argument was like you have to think that God exists for the argument to hold up. Where with the way you're doing it, you're like implying that they figure out the thing to preserve the book for them to preserve the book.
I never said that they'd be the one preserving the book. The person who made the book would have treated the book with something to make it be preserved.
You're
Are you recording?
yeah. Why were you gonna say something?
I don't want to interrupt.
I mean,
Too
you
late.
can add to it if you want to.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
All right. Oh, you were gonna watch TV.
No, but see, you're implying that they will, but they won't necessarily do that.
There is no proof that they didn't, therefore there is no proof that they did, therefore it does not matter in the context of the story.
It does matter though, because
No, it
the
doesn't.
thing, the
No,
object,
it does not.
MacGuffin's object is gonna break down eventually.
No, it won't.
No, you're implying that they 100% have figured out how to do. Oh, another example that they had where the thing was like we are living in a simulation, and they're like, assuming that we figure out how to do a perfect simulation, assuming that that simulation figures out a perfect simulation. But like the beginning of it is what is broken. Like they're implying that there is a perfect simulation, but we haven't gotten there. We might never get there.
That's
It's
not
not
the
a
same
thing.
concept. That is something
It is-
completely
it is-
different.
The idea of assuming something and that assumption carrying your argument when really it's not that solid is what you're doing.
This has nothing to do with time travel, Taylor.
It's not about time travel, it's about
Then you are
Proving your
off
ar-
on a tangent and
it's
your
about
argument
proving
is
your argument.
invalid.
It's about proving your argument.
Your argument
You're
is invalid.
implying that-
You're off the point.
You're implying that they're gonna do something to preserve the object, but they might not. It might be some random dude. And you don't know where the object originally came from because they never show that, because it's always them putting it back where they found it. And no one ever making it, people just finding it.
Like I said, magic. The person who made the book.
You
created
can't
the
just
thing.
say a wizard did it and just call it good.
You can't just say a wizard didn't do it because there is no proof that he did
No.
or did not.
No, just because there's
Taylor,
no proof
you are
he did
assuming-
it doesn't prove. Just because no one's proof that God doesn't exist doesn't mean he does.
Taylor,
It is the same kind of argument. I'm just putting it on a different skin so you realize the flaws.
you are implying, back to the whole time travel thing, you are implying that nobody thought to treat the book with a thing or whatever it is, to treat it with something that has it not deteriorate. You are implying that they did not. I am
It is-
implying that they could have.
It is infinitely more likely that they don't have a perfectly preserving thing than they do have one.
Bet. You've heard of multiverse theory, right?
Has anyone perfectly preserved the Declaration of Independence?
Actually, yes, we have.
No. No, we haven't. We're not allowed to take pictures of it because that would break it down.
No, we're just not allowed to touch it.
Because that would break it down.
Or take flash photography.
Yeah, we're
How
not
the
allowed
heck
to-
would flash photography break down the Declaration of Independence after it is sealed in an airtight case?
Light and the
Yeah, the lights actually do break down molecules in ink.
Yeah.
That's why when you pass by like movie stores and you look at the covers of the things by the windows, they're all blue. It's because the light is actually breaking down the other colors, and blue's just the slowest to deteriorate.
This is irrelevant. Anyways.
No, it is relevant because the Declaration of Independence is still breaking down. We're just slowing it down. Which comes to my point where the object of whatever, the time travel that keeps replacing itself, where it never shows who originally put it there or why. It's just always found. It never came from anywhere. And that's why I believe that's what's known as the bootstrap paradox, is where like there never was a beginning. It's just a loop of the middle.
Still, what I'm saying is you're implying that they wouldn't have tried to preserve it in the past.
You're saying wouldn't have tried. They could have tried, but like
Well, either way,
people have not.
you're
Found a
implying
way
that they
to-
did not. And in this fictional universe where time travel
That
is somehow
doesn't prove
possible,
that they have, though.
it doesn't prove that they haven't. Taylor, all
You
it takes is a
need to-
little bit of faith. How do you think religions have lasted this long?
No, that's your problem. You can't put your faith in it. That's not how things work. Things
How
don't
have
exist.
religions lasted
Things don't
this
just
long?
exist because you believe that they do. You need to have actual proof to show that something is.
Taylor, you
I
ever
don't
read the
need to-
Bible?
I don't need to
Well,
prove that
what's
things
the
don't
time
exist because the fact that it isn't apparently existing is like good enough.
Taylor, you ever read the Bible?
No.
It says Noah lived for over 600 years. Do you have proof? No. But can you deny it? No.
That's what
Looking
the record
at-
says.
Looking at human history, just by how human beings live right now, we can kind of deny it.
But Taylor, you weren't there. You can't prove it.
I wasn't there for the dinosaurs, but we do have proof that they exist.
It is recorded history, by the way. So, I
For
mean,
all
that's
you know,
generally
those are
accepted.
just weird alligators.
Whether or not you believe in that Luther, get out of the way, kitty. Whether or not you believe in a religion, I do believe that the Bible itself is false because I feel like people have been kind of like a game of telephone, but with the written words.
Again, you're placing this all on faith.
I'm not saying
You
God doesn't
believe
exist, but I am
that
saying
this-
the Bible is wrong.
You believe that it is wrong. You can neither prove it, nor can you prove it
Human
untrue.
beings do not live 600 years. There is my proof.
You have no proof.
No.
Who's to say they didn't? Or was it a different measure of a year?
They could have been aliens.
Maybe it was seasons, divided, and they lived 120. Is that more believable?
That is a little bit more believable, but people didn't have this good healthcare back then because there's no remnants of their healthcare. Because we find remnants of other things from human civilizations all the time.
Taylor,
We have
I'm just going to say,
information from those times, and one of them is not healthcare.
Yeah, Jesus performed miracles and healed people 2,000 years ago.
We don't have like the process by which that happened. That was what I was pointing out.
No, just the fact that it happened, though.
all I have to say for the lifespan thing is that Grandpa showed me all this stuff about our history, and pretty much what it was is some 400 years ago, one of our ancestors lived to be over 130 years old. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Some dude in the freaking Dark Ages lived to be 130.
If Harry Potter doesn't exist, then who wrote Harry Potter? And also with Greek and Roman stories, they're written as if they're true, but we know they're not. The sun isn't made out of horses.
We don't know.
And we do have proof of that.
Who's to say the inside of the sun isn't a bunch of horses?
I'm pretty sure scientists have done little tests and things to figure out what the inner part of the sun is made out of, and it's not horses.
But they don't know that. They
Yes, they
haven't
do.
been there.
Yes, they do.
Once they go to the inside of the sun, they
We're
will
gonna find
prove it.
Goku charging up because apparently he's real because written stuff of him exists. Ugh.
It's the best spirit bomb I've ever seen.
They're gonna find Superman. It's Goku and Superman and be like, yeah, what's the deal with superpowered aliens protecting Earth? And then they just nod, and then they go back into their meditative state inside the sun.
See, but that wouldn't be possible because Goku throws his enemies into the sun like every 10 episodes.
Eventually, they're just be. This is just because of, I believe they call it power creep, because things just keep getting stronger and stronger. You're gonna eventually get things that can survive the sun. We've already found tons of things that survive bullets.
Well, I mean, Cooler survived the sun, so
Yeah, so like
Broly almost survived the sun.
anything with more UV protection than Cooler is gonna survive the sun.
Well, I think it's heat protection too.
I feel like most of them, if they can survive the laser beams, they can survive the heat of the sun.
I don't think there's actually any proof that all of the energy blasts and whatnot are actually hot.
Hmm.
There's never been any
Usually
proof.
when things glow that bright, they're hot. But then again, I could be very wrong.
Are you telling me glow sticks are hot?
That's why I said usually. Although if you directly touch it, I think it's like burning chemicals, not fire burn, but you shouldn't be touching it directly. And that's why I say most, not all. Then again, if they got bioluminescence, why is no one looking into that?
Well, you see, they're too busy saving the universe.
And they're not doing like the same type of motion that would come from a glow stick, where you gotta like snap it so that the chemicals react.
No, they just kind of form whatever it is out of pure willpower.
Which that's what makes me think they're hot, is because like their energy.
See, Master Roshi's a normal human. Yeah, he's over 300 years old, but he's a normal human. How the heck can he harness plasma and whatnot?
Wasn't Tien also a normal human with a third
No,
eye?
he's actually descended from a race of aliens that had 3 eyes. Krillin's a normal human.
Apparently,
He has no
Triceratops
nose.
are real and exist.
Well, we don't have proof that they don't. Giants existed. They actually have
Yeah,
proof
they
of that.
have fossil records of giants. Those are real.
Well, giants exist today.
Yeah.
Wasn't there some like Chinese guy who was about twice as tall as the average Asian?
Yeah, there's been all kinds of people that, you know,
He
Yeah,
was
they-
like a track star or something.
7
I don't know what he did.
or
Yeah, they've found like 10, 12-foot people fossil records before.
How tall is Shaq?
I think he's under 10 feet.
Yeah,
How
he's
much
like
under? I
7
don't.
foot
Okay.
1.
Oh, he's the size of Darth Vader.
Was he the guy that was like twice as tall as Kevin Hart?
Yep. It's nice to be in a roast hosted by Shaq's dick.
Wow.
Awkward silence.
Because I finished my thought. What do you want to talk about next, or should we end it here? Just have it be a quickie.
We could have this be a short episode. I can't think of anything else to say right now. My eye hurts and my computer's being more difficult than a preteen.
Let me grab the Lulukins and have him say goodbye because he's here.
Yeah, you guys can deal with that.
Lulu!
My ears.
Luther! Say bye, Luther!